Mate, I'm sitting in my childhood bedroom, classic times.
Ooh.
It's now a sewing room. It's kind of wild, kind of appropriate for the recording actually, and that I've like regressed to like
Yeah.
where I stayed in high school. Didn't even think about that until right now. Damn, crazy.
Mention that on mic.
I just did.
Uh,
You're gonna have to cut all this in,
oh,
mate.
what? The sun is the same in a relative way, but you look younger and have to pretend younger because you're undercover. Welcome to Pink Floyd, the podcast where we watch every movie ever made to see if it syncs up with Pink Floyd's 1973 magnum opus, The Dark Side of the Moon. My name is Gareth Blackler, and step inside his Korean church, it's James Barron.
Hello, it's me, totally a 17-year-old James Barron on the mic. Here, how are you, Gareth? I'm hanging out with Korean Jesus and all my podcast friends.
I'm doing well.
Yeah?
I'm ready to talk about a fun movie for the lads.
Yeah, it is. It is a very ladsy movie, huh?
Heck yeah. Yeah, it's got like Jonah Hill, who the lads love, and Channing Tatum, who the lads love, and more things the lads love. It's a film called 21 Jump Street from 2014. No, 2012. The sequel was 2014. James, you chose this.
I did.
Why'd you choose it, buddy?
I don't know. I like it. This movie's alright. I think it's a fun time movie. It's very silly.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just sort of pulled it out of the ether, as I do some weeks on the show, and
Yeah.
sometimes that pans out and sometimes it don't. But we're here to talk about it, Gareth. All right, you know,
Aw. Yeah. I'm sorry, I
Yeah.
put you on the defense already.
a little bit. Yeah, I'm having to defend my pick, but that's all right. Yeah, no, I think this movie's okay. It's made by the people that made Clone High. So it's like in my wheelhouse of humor, which because I'm a big fan of that show, and I know you're a fan of that show.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's fun. It's definitely like, I feel like it is the like high school. If I were in high school when this movie came out, I would bloody love it to bits. It would be like the perfect high schooler movie, and that it's got like a bunch of dumb humor and that appeals in that way. But
Yeah, it's got a lot of scenes that you'd talk about at school the next day, or like
yeah,
someone would have seen it and be like, whoa, you'll never believe that such and such is in it, or like, oh, the scene where this happens. It'd just be like, it's a film that, for me, especially, like, I was out of high school when it came out, it still built up a reputation well before I saw it. Like, I knew a lot of the big jokes already.
oh really, man? So just people would just there's the people on the street talking to you about it, handing
People
out
on the street were talking to me.
handing out tacos and saying that 21 Jump Street, here's all the spoilers, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
all right, I guess. No, fair enough.
No, exactly. Because it's definitely a film where you heard about it and you thought it was going to be real bad, and then it turned out it was real good.
Yeah.
Which is the Phil Lord and Christopher Miller Clone High guys. It's their trick, you know? It's how they get us.
It's kind of their promise, right?
Yeah.
Like you hear about a concept like Clone High or something like this, and you're like, that
Or the
can't
Lego
be good.
movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You hear about it and you're like, oh, yeah, I don't know. And then you end up watching it and you're like, oh, it's actually pretty good. It's pretty alright.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's their
And
their whole
it sucks. It's like, it's great they've done it, and like, love this film. Lego movie's great.
Yeah.
Still need to, I think I've seen Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. I've seen some of it and I loved it. Spider-Verse, obviously great.
Yeah.
Like, the only thing is they've created this promise now where it's like, a movie looks bad, but it could be real good. So we're now willing to trust. We're willing to meet the movies halfway. But the movies aren't willing to meet us back, you know? Bad movies still keep getting made, or movies that look like they're going to be bad are still bad. And quite frankly, I'm It's getting harder to get the pals together to go to the movies these days, and not just because of the pandemic.
Maybe we just have to start tricking them like this dynamic duo does. We just like undersell
Yes.
it massively. We're like, oh yeah, we're gonna see this film. I don't know if it's gonna be any good, and then it's like insane. It's like the best movie you've ever seen. I should not be like so hyped about The Green Knight. I should be like, yeah, maybe there's like a night. I don't know. And then everyone goes and sees it, and they're like, "Oh shit! Actually, this movie rules." I don't know.
Yeah, that's
maybe.
good. And we should go. So we should go to the movie slightly earlier. Check it's great. Figure out how to undersell it, like reverse market it, and then bring the pals to it.
The guerrilla marketing.
I like it.
It's our tactic.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So next time you hear about a film on the show and we're saying, "Oh, it wasn't that good," we really love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely. Anyway, that segues nicely into 21 Jump Street.
Yeah.
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 Shall we talk about the plot and all the stuff that we do on the show? How it's synced up with the magnum opus? Hey?
Yeah. I just want to say one thing.
Okay.
I first saw this movie, I think, in 2014 in a hostel in New Zealand city, Queenstown.
Oh, wow.
When it'd been really cold, and we'd realised most of what you can do in Queenstown is very expensive, and we didn't have the money for it. So we just went back to the hostel, and we were all like a bit kind of like put out, like, oh man, what are we gonna do? We're on holiday, but we're like can't really afford to do anything, and it's like a Sunday night and a long weekend. Oh, what can we do? And then some random person on their OE just popped this movie on, completely lifted our spirits. We're all back on board.
Amazing.
So, yeah, and I have such a visceral, when I rewatched it, I had such a visceral flashback to not just the cold of Queenstown and everything about that, but everything kind of leading up to the trip and stuff like that. It's really imprinted all over my memories of June 2014.
Man, deep sense memories of the movie. I really like that. Yeah, that's amazing that you could be so transported.
I think a big thing, and I'm just realizing now, was the night before we'd tried to go on a thing called Kiwi Crawl, where you go to different bars and you get a free Jello shot, and the song Shots had come back, and it was big youth party energy. And by the end of it, everyone in our Kiwi Crawl was making out and
whoa,
wasted.
Holy
except
shit.
for me and our two friends who were relatively sober,
man,
because we'd already spent too much money on the luge and stuff. So we were already feeling too old and out of touch.
Oh,
and then
no.
this movie just kind of showed us that's okay.
Yeah.
You have friendship.
Yeah, you don't have to be out there making out. You can be undercover cops.
Yeah.
Definitely.
The two options.
Yeah. Oh, that's incredible. What a lovely time. Would you recommend Kiwi Crawl as a thing to do at all? It sounds like everyone's just gonna get together on a Kiwi Crawl.
Yeah, I hope some of those people are still together to this day.
Yeah.
And I also hope some of them, it was just a fun night they had.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I'd recommend it. Why not?
Cool.
You get to, check in on LMFAO's musical career. Oddly the same as this movie
Yeah,
does.
definitely.
You get to...
Strongly features. Amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
There was the, little guy running it who, he was climbing on stuff and going, come to the crawl, and, trying to get us all to move to the next bar. He was
He's a crawl
real
caller?
Gimli energy. Yeah.
I love that.
Crawl call.
The crawl call. You heeded his crawl call and you came a crawling.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Oh, man. This is the Gimli. Oh,
Yeah.
the Gimli of Queenstown. Yeah.
Yeah, the party Gimli, the Gimlet Gimli.
Oh, that's fantastic. New Twitter handle
Except he-
online.
Except he was not drinking anything as classy as a gimlet. He was all the free jelly shot.
All
he
about
got
the
into bar.
shots. All about those shots, everybody.
Everybody.
All right. Let's
Speaking of everybody,
Hey.
everybody gather around and we're talking about how 21
around.
Jump Street synced with Pink Floyd.
Yeah. gather around,
Yeah.
keep warm, do your Jello shot, and let's get into it.
Gently sip your Jello shot over the next hour for that true Pink Floyd experience.
Yes, please. Okay, let's do it. Speak to me. Opening credits, as you do, baby. Yeah, we got young Jonah Hill as Schmidt. I just use last names for these guys for like the entire film, just because.
I think it just wants you to,
Yeah.
I don't know what Schmidt's real first name is, and it's very confusing because Schmidt and Jenko, very forgettable names.
Yeah.
Doug and Brad, their other, their alter egos, very forgettable
Extremely
names.
interchangeable, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, here he is. He's a young, slim, shady ass dude. He looks exactly like Eminem with braces, because that's what he's into. It's 2005. And he's asking out a girl called Ellie to high school prom over Breathe, but too socially awkward to do that. Basically, gets shut down.
Yeah.
And it's quite meta, really. Jinko is there with like Fabio here and mocks him. Our Channing Tatum character with just long flowing hair for this one scene only is like such a good thing, because in high school, especially in 2005, it is a thing to grow your hair long. That was just like
of course.
what it was. So there you go. I wonder if it's still a thing. If like in high school people are growing their hair long, just as that's just the move still. I don't know.
Yeah, because it's like it was always an experimental thing. Like you'd try it and then. Yeah, everyone would give it a go, see how it looks, stick with it for over a year because it took that much work, and then abandon it. Yeah.
That's the move, you know.
Yeah,
you got to try it. I hope so too.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, I feel like in New Zealand anyway, most of it is the like Padawan rat tails. I've been seeing that around all the time, and I'm not thrilled about it.
Are they back? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I feel like we talked about it on the show already, but remember when people would bleach just their rat's tails?
I'd what? Sorry? I didn't catch that.
I thought you just like passed out.
Oh
people
man,
like
I blacked out.
People would like bleach their rat's tails. And then bleach like the front of their hair as well.
Oh god.
And in the middle, just brunette.
But the front and the like little string at the back, that's so strange.
Yeah.
It's like it's a pull cord for like a row of curtains or something. That's bizarre.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know. I just don't understand the appeal, but it's fine. If your kid has that, if your kid has that out there, listener, I'm sorry for mocking it. I assume that all of our listeners have kids. Just for this.
Honestly, I assume that too now.
This is the episode that we find out that we're old and out of touch. Finally.
No.
I know you've been waiting. It's happened.
Well, like, the big question for this film, and I might be jumping the gun, or should have been in the preamble, is how well would you do going undercover in a high school?
Oh God, I feel like I'd do terribly. Genuinely. I don't know. Like, I don't know. I went through such a shocking change during high school, and that like it started before puberty hit, and then now like turned into like a lanky dork. So, and now I feel a bit more. I don't know. I feel a bit more comfortable in my own skin as opposed to how I was in high school. But like,
and you don't want to have to fake that. No, go back to being uncomfortable.
No, definitely. Yeah. I feel like we'll get to it, but Schmidt has like serious apprehension about going back to high school because it was a terrible time for him. I don't think I would be on that same level, but like I wouldn't want to go back. I'm good. I done my time. 5 years of it in Azkaban.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Would you... My big question now of like people our age is, do you reckon it's more likely that they could go undercover in a high school, or that they were undercover in a high school and are actually 10 years older than they're saying they are now?
I feel like,
And I think...
a lot of our friends are deep cover police officers, I would say. Like, I'm saying there's like probably like 10% of people that we know and hang out with on a regular basis. It just has to be, right? You know?
Yeah, of course. I'm sure this happens way more frequently than anyone realizes.
Yeah. You got to keep the drugs off the streets somehow.
Yeah.
You know. Anyway, yeah. So we have Jinko as well, and things aren't going
Yeah.
great for him either. As he's called into the principal's office, as lyrics kick in for "Breathe," and he's not allowed to go to prom because his grades are too shit. He's like been focusing on the wrong things, having fun in high school,
Yeah.
much like me in my last year.
Oh.
Yeah. But he's not allowed to go to prom. And it's rough stuff, and so
Yeah.
neither of them are going to prom, and they're both sitting outside crying on either side of this bin. And it's a bad
Exactly
time.
when Pink Floyd sing about tears you cry.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And then we go Run Rabbit Run, and it's 7 years later, and they're both enrolling in Police Academy. Not the film, but the real thing.
They're both enrolling in a different film.
So yeah, we've got Jinko
Yeah.
is good at all the physical stuff because he's Channing Tatum, obviously. Magic Mike, here he is.
Yeah.
And Schmidt's good at all the academics and academia test stuff, knowing all the police knowledge because he was a nerdy dude in high school. And so they decide to become friends and help each other out. And that's the end of the film.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. No, like, I really quite like this, like, team up in general. This is a very economical way of showing, like, them getting together and showing their strengths. And I'm just into it.
Yeah, and I really found it quite sweet, this montage of them, like, getting better at Police Academy via friendship. And it's when
good.
it's On the Run by Pink Floyd starts playing, and they do this. It's a training thing where you have to run through tires, and you put each foot inside a tire. No physical activity has ever synced up more with On the Run by Pink Floyd.
For
Something
real.
about that, like, weird hoop, 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 hoop step you have to do.
Yeah, definitely. Just that's what
Yeah.
everyone in the audience of a Pink Floyd concert is doing this. They've just arranged tires and lines and they're just having a fucking run track police training just for 3 minutes in a song, you know? That's just how it goes.
I wouldn't put that past Pink Floyd with all their fancy gimmicks. The fact they build an entire wall. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And then the crash sound happens and everyone just like collapses on the ground and then they all wake up to time's clocks. Oh. It's a full like performance art piece and I'm really into it now. I've painted a beautiful picture.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think what you're really painting is how this film would sync better with Pink Floyd.
Yeah. Yeah, they graduate from cop school and they get out on the beat. But it's not all that they hope for. They're like bike cops around a park, just doing boring stuff. But they do come across some I don't know, gang members, like a gang called the One Percenters, which is such a weird gang name, by the way. I guess they're the 1%.
Especially in 2012. Yeah.
Right?
Like 2012 when obviously We Are the 99% was a huge thing. To just be like, oh sweet, we've got the name for our fictional gang.
Perfect. Yeah. They're just like all opulent, like homeowners. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Maybe that's their backstory, is they used to be like
Oh.
power brokers and now they're like bikers.
Maybe.
That's what unites them.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, it's ridiculous. But yeah, so they spot these guys and they're like getting they're trying to like bust them for drugs basically because they want to do something exciting. We get them chasing down they search their bikes and find some actual drugs hidden away.
Yeah.
And then they all split off in different directions, and so they're chasing down a couple of them. And Jinko like tackles one to the ground, and he tackles him like in slow motion as we go into the clocks. There wasn't really anything for the crash sound, just so we know. But he manages to get one, and Schmidt just sort of gets pushed to the ground, and they all escape. And And we've got Nick Offerman as police chief here. Is this like his only
Yeah.
part in the whole film? I like him as a police chief. He doesn't have the
Yeah.
proper grouchiness that really is required. Ice Cube fills the like angry stereotype police chief later on. He fills that role better, I think. But Nick Offerman is a good vibe. He's a good person for this. He's just like sort of, just like
you can tell he's so good.
shocked by their incompetence, I think.
Yeah. You can tell he's so good because he pretty much delivers the meta side of it, where he talks about how there's no good ideas anymore, so the people up top are just getting us to recycle old ideas, meaning the the Jump Street idea or Jump Street program, but it's also talking about the like actual Jump Street TV program. And they obviously loved this joke so much, they essentially based the whole sequel around that, because the sequel is ridiculously meta. Like, I rewatched that as well in prep for this, and
oh, nice,
very good. But like, they hit that meta joke a lot harder in this one, in that one.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Well, all I would say more subtle than like say Deadpool or something, where it's not like look at you in the camera and be like, "Can you believe there's a sequel?" It's more like, "Oh, we're doing this same thing again. Got to do the same thing." Like, yeah, it's still smarter.
Yeah,
but it definitely. Old mate AJ from Cult Pop Show made a video essay about whether or not people are confusing meta from funny, and I think 21 Jump Street was one of the ones that kind of started that trend off.
That's fair. Yeah. Like, I feel like they don't like really ham it up in this first one, but yeah, I feel like it could overstay its welcome. Definitely. I didn't revisit the second one, so I'm not sure, but yeah, I definitely don't enjoy that, like the Deadpool like, oh, I know exactly what's happening in the movie, breaking the fourth wall thing for the sake of it. Like, it can be funny if it's done cleverly, but like for a whole film, it's like, I don't know, maybe too much. It's like, for example, like why I don't really enjoy Abed on revisit to Community. I feel like it can be a bit much. He was like my favorite.
Interesting.
He was like my favorite thing when I watched it the first time. But like the more I watch it now, like the more that grates on me. So I don't know. Maybe that's just me just growing older. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it's a lot like you know, when you meet someone and they are the person who points out their own personality flaw really quickly before anyone else can. And like, often it's stuff you haven't even thought of. Like, you've just met the guy and he's like, yeah, but you know, I smell really bad or something.
Whoa.
Like, oh, okay.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. And it's a defense mechanism, and you know, it's worked for humans for many years in our social situations.
Well.
But it also, you know, it's an excuse to not work on that. So like, you do like a Deadpool, I can't think of any meta jokes in Deadpool 2 actually, but like, you do a joke in your film about like how like, oh, I guess that's going to save us character development or something like that. And, you know, audience laughs quickly. But then you know, you could have just written the character development, or you could have done something a little smarter and you've just kind of saved it. Or like, oh, I guess there was no good joke for that. And you're like, oh, I guess there wasn't.
Yeah, I guess so. Like, that doesn't sound good. Yeah.
Yeah. Or that scene in Deadpool where it's like, hey, sorry, I smell. And you're like, oh, man, that's what that is? I thought it was the cinema.
Wow. Okay. That's a little bit terrifying. If he can like predict smells in the room that you're in, I'm not okay with that. Like,
that's meta gone too far.
When he's like walking out of the like Timothy Chalamet stairs and like coming and sitting down next to me, I'm not okay with it. Like,
for new listeners, the Timothy Chalamet stairs are apparently steps that lead from the screen to your seat, where the characters can come and talk to you.
Yeah, that's something something that I think about since we talked about it. Something that I've like just locked in as a thing in my mind.
Yeah.
I think about it maybe too much. Oh, gosh.
Have I told you my, maybe where my beef with Deadpool comes from?
Sure. Tell me. I don't think you have.
Okay, so the year is 2016. I'm new to Auckland City. I'm trying to meet people.
Yeah.
I'm on the dating app Tinder, and I'm talking to someone who's real into like films as well. And I was like, oh yeah, this is awesome. And she was like, I was like, oh, what good films have you seen lately? And she was like, oh, you know, Hail Caesar and like something else, all these really artsy 2016 films I hadn't seen.
Right.
And then she's like, what have you seen lately that you've liked? And I'm like, Spotlight and Deadpool. And she never replied.
Damn. I mean, kind of fair, but like, damn, that is cold. I mean, she didn't know, like...
You don't want that energy.
No, it's always tough, though, right? Like, when people ask you, oh, what films have you watched recently? You're really into films. And I, especially now for me, because we're watching these films, if I go like, oh, 21 Jump Street, and then also, like, the Clifford trailer, like, what they're going to be like, are you really into films? I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But, like, no.
Yeah. Well, like, trying to arrange people to see Space Jam 2 with me, it was really, like, I had to really think, like, oh, that's right, most people don't go see films for the, like, out of morbid curiosity.
Yeah.
They go to sit in a dark room where they can't talk to their friends for 2 hours to enjoy something.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's... like, there is still fun to be had in going for the morbid curiosity thing. I would say, like, I would like not be remiss to go and watch Deadpool, even if I knew going in that I wouldn't like it, like that's something that I could see myself doing. But at the same time, I do really enjoy going in and watching like a great movie, so yeah.
That's something people need to know about you, James, is you enjoy watching a great movie.
That's true. Put that on my Tinder bio, okay? I'll defend that to the death.
The same person ends up talking to you, like, oh, you like a great movie. Unlike that boy from 2016.
The boys get transferred, to Jump Street.
Yeah.
They go down there over Time Solo, and it's this old church called the Aroma of Christ Church. I'm smelling the Aroma of Christ Church right now.
Oh, nice, because it's your city.
Yeah, got there. And Ice Cube is here. Killing it. I love that he's both in this movie and they play an NWA track with him in it, like just rapping. It's so good.
Yeah.
Oh, I love
that doesn't often happen unless like you're in a 90s Will Smith movie.
Yeah. He's the angry black captain guy, but he's like fully embracing that as the role.
Yeah.
And just loves it and crushes it throughout the whole movie. It's great.
Yeah. He's an interesting one because, like, I guess you've just had Nick Offerman, like you said, kind of playing a similar role.
Yeah.
But Nick Offerman his jokes were very writery. They were very like, here's the exact script. Whereas, even though, like he even says in the film he's playing more of a stereotype. Mm-hmm. His humor is more like a real person. Like he's someone who almost, going back to the meta thing, knows he's in a movie but has no interest in like pointing that out to you. He just wants to get the job done. And it's awesome. It's a very, like, for someone who's obviously not like, didn't come up too much as an actor, even though he wrote like Friday and stuff.
Yeah.
Amazing, like, way to play this, what might be a quite complicated character to play, of like, kind of throwing the movie itself out of the window in a certain way.
Yeah, it definitely could go wrong. But he absolutely sticks the landing on it, and you love to see him in it. Like every line that he drops is just like, you could see this guy saying it in earnest, but also being like quite tongue in cheek at the same time, and it's really good. Like immediately calls Schmidt a cherub-looking motherfucker, which is just like cut him to his core. It's really good. Like, and he's just full of like stuff like that. The Korean Jesus line later on is so good. It's just wonderful. So continuing with plot, they are watching bloody young Neil fresh out of Jennifer's body and into this movie. He's here taking...
After missing out on being in Whiplash in between.
Fucking
rip. No, after.
Yeah, poor guy. But anyway, he's taken this drug that's circulating in a high school called HFS, standing for holy fucking shit, which is a little bit silly, but hey, that's okay. And yeah, showing the like phases of this drug kicking in certain ways. I do like that this like editing style for his YouTube video is used later in the movie when other
Yeah.
characters take it just to like circle back. I think that's really cleverly done. That's a very like
Yeah.
another hallmark of the directors. I think that they would have pushed for this kind of thing. But yeah,
Yeah, they're quite close with the motion graphics people who did the end credits for this one and the next one.
yeah,
Like they're just the people they go straight to because they just get them so much.
Yeah.
And like you can tell, especially with the sequel, the fact like the motion graphics in credit direction goes for like 5 minutes and tells its own story, like super story. They just like loved that
it's
studio
so
that much.
good. Yeah, the end credits
Yeah.
of 22 Jump Street are like some of the best credits ever. Like the only some of the only credits to like actually make me stick around in the cinema and keep laughing the entire time.
Yeah.
Like it's like that and like Monsters Inc. I think are the two things that I can think of.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Oh, that's so true.
Yeah. Just like
I do want to. Oh,
no,
sorry.
no, it's all right.
I do want to say, so there's other fake or police officers about to become students in Jump Street.
Yeah.
And the casting for these guys are amazing. Like they could all have their own films. They all are so interesting to look at, and like you can kind of figure them out. And it's amazing that they keep going back to the same two, who are played by Dakota Johnson and Rai Rai.
Yeah.
Which blew my mind once I figured that out. I was like,
best.
why is this cheerleader so dynamic and interesting? And it's because it's Dakota flippin' Johnson.
Absolutely. And yeah, like one thing I want to point out about is it Rai Rai? I thought it was Riri, but I may even think of Rahana.
Oh my gosh.
It could be Rai Rai.
That's going to be what all the other kids find me out when I'm undercover at school now because they've said that wrong.
We got. Anyway, that person plays a character called Junior Junior, which is just awesome.
Yes. Yeah.
It's really fun. But yeah, anyway, they're watching this video of this kid experiencing the drugs, and we find out that he OD'd in his room, and they want to get down and figure out what's going on. They need to find the supply source of this drug before it breaks containment and is sold outside of this one high school. For some reason, it's only being sold in this one high school. But yeah, it makes sense later on why that is.
Oh yeah, true.
But yeah, so each of the boys have been enrolled in classes based on their past performance at high school. Jinko is to blend in with the cool kids, and he's been enrolled in like drama and and photography, like arts courses that he like could easily pass without trying, apparently. And he's trying to get in with the cool kids and find the supply source by ingratiating himself in with them. Schmidt has been assigned to do like science courses and maths and all the nerdy subjects because that's what he was good at in high school. And he is to investigate the science department where the equipment was being stolen to make these drugs, apparently. So that's where they have a lead on that source. They get given their fake identities, Brad and Doug McQuaid, which is a great names. And then, just Ice Cube banging his hand on the desk saying, infiltrate the dealers, find the supplier, which is just great. He really drills that home because they aren't listening.
Yeah.
It's good.
Again, it's trying to be witty writing, like, oh, if we find the supplier, we don't have to infiltrate the dealers. And he's just like, nah, I don't have time for the script. You're not trying to, I'm not trying to get the script writer into Harvard. I'm just trying to make a movie here.
It's just like, shut up. This is what we need to do. Like, I just told you what you need to do. And they're like, no, it could be this. And he's like, no, listen. It's so good.
Yeah.
I like that attitude. It's very fun. So Schmidt does his prayer to Korean Jesus over the chill part of Great Gig in the Sky, and that fits real well for some reason. Like as soon as he starts his like little prayer, we get like the slow chill bit of Great Gig, and I think that's great.
Yeah.
But this is where he confesses about being worried about going back to high school and all that. They another wrinkle is revealed in the plan, in that since they're both playing brothers as their undercover roles, they have to stay together at Schmidt's house. His family moved back in with his mum and dad to complete their cover as high school students, basically. And so, yeah, we go to Schmidt's house now. We see young Schmidt in a child photography photo of him, like in black and white, where he does really look like Fred Savage, like like quite a lot. I'm pretty sure this is like a genuine photo of young what's his name? Oh my god, I've forgotten. Jonah Hill. Jonah Hill. Where he's just like put it up, like brought it in for the movie, and they're just like, yeah, like he's down with it to be made fun of, but because it's really good.
Well, Jonah Hill co-wrote this film.
Did he?
Which is, yeah.
Amazing.
Like, when you think about how much word economy is used entirely to make fun of Jonah Hill.
Yeah.
It's like, buddy.
It's good. Like, he knows how to make fun of himself. He's not doing the thing like, I smell bad, like that thing. He's like... he's like happy to make fun of himself and be funny in the movie, I think.
Yeah, and he's going deep, like the cherub comic.
Yeah. That's amazing. Oh, unreal. But yeah.
I think in the sequel they call him a 40-year-old 8-year-old, which is also just so deep.
Such a deep
burn.
An ice burn. My God.
Yeah.
He's got like skin made of hard steel. He's hardened, you know. You can't get to Jonah Hill. He's a comedy genius. All right, there I said it.
All right.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. I agree. He also, when he directed mid-90s for A24, A24 do this thing where occasionally the directors write like zines, and apparently Jonah Hill's one is beautiful. It's just interviews with his friends and family.
Whoa.
About their past insecurities and how they feel now, like what the advice they give to their old selves.
Oh wow,
yeah,
that sounds awesome.
And it's so sweet. Yeah,
man, I'm gonna look that up after this recording. Make me sing me to sleep, Jonah. Give me your sweet words. I'm very excited for that. Yeah. So yeah, Schmidt's worried about more worries coming through that he's not going to enjoy going back to high school, and that in Friends, Jinko and Schmidt are friends now, but they weren't at all in high school, and he's worried about them regressing into their old roles and falling apart, basically. Yeah. Basically stating the arc of the film outright, but that's okay. And they're like, nah, that's not going to happen, it's fine. And they just move on. I do really like them having a through line of practicing their Miranda rights in the mirror. It's like a common thread that they like need to. It's them getting better at being police officers and improving as in their friendship. I think is them reading these Miranda rights. Yeah. It's the bare minimum for arresting someone, is what Nick Offerman said earlier, which is kind of great.
Yeah. I didn't realize that like you can you have to let someone go if you didn't read them the Miranda rights.
Yeah.
It seems oddly pageantry.
It's like the whole point of reading someone their rights is that like if you arrest them and you don't read them their rights, like they don't know what their rights are. So you know,
that's true. Yeah, it's a fault. Police
just can't go around as like a private militia just arresting people like without any rights or anything like that. Reading them their rights, I'm pretty sure it's like a binding contract kind of thing, where like if you explain to them their rights, then they know what they can and can't do. You know.
Yeah, and it ends with, "Do you understand these rights?" as they've been read to you.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'm all for it. I think more regulations on the police, please.
Please.
Yeah. I just kind of...
Yeah. If this movie shows anything...
They say discussing a very pro-police film.
Yeah, it really is, actually, isn't it? Oh, well.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's a through line as well. Sorry, you go.
It doesn't really show them in that good of a light, in that it's, like, pretty much a lot of police incompetence. They, like, steal drugs from a lockup and, like... use a
Yeah.
car that they shouldn't really be able to have access to. They get fired and then like go undercover and like try and save the day, even though they've been like having their badges stripped from them, like Lethal Weapon style. But like,
Yeah.
that's all bad stuff, you know?
Yeah, there's also this like through line where Jonah Hill can't fire his gun and then ends
Yeah.
up like it's a big thing like, yeah, he fired his gun, which is the same, they have it in Die Hard as well. It
Yeah.
just feels super icky. Like,
It's no good, yeah.
yeah.
That's like the hero
it's like,
move.
no,
You
that's-
finally shot someone.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's not a good feeling.
And like in Die Hard it's worse because it's like he stopped because he shot a kid and then he gets the courage back to shoot someone and it's like, yay.
Yay! That kid
Yeah.
died for a reason.
Yeah.
It's no good, yeah.
Uh,
Anyway. Yeah, they go back to school and like they have this weird argument about two-strapping or one-strapping a backpack. Were you a two-strapper or one-strap when you were in high school, Gareth? Do you remember it all?
So there's obviously the Simpsons episode Lemon of Troy where they talk about this as well.
Oh yeah.
And because I had no one else telling me how to be cool in primary school and in high school, to be honest, I had to go entirely by that because obviously, you know, Bart Simpson.
Yeah.
No one.
Authority on
He's cool.
cool.
He's got a whole rap song. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was definitely a one strapper, but then I switched to a satchel because obviously I did 3 arts classes.
I'm a fellow satchel user in high school, so
Yeah.
I can relate there. But definitely, I was combination satchel or two strap because I'm a true nerd at heart, you know, and
Yeah.
I live my truth and always have. So there you go.
I definitely 2-strap it now,
Yeah.
but I've also got this, mainly because of my terrible habit of not zipping up my bag properly.
Mm.
So, like, if I'm one-strapping it and it's flying around back and forth,
You're gonna
you
lose.
just know my, like, yeah, my inhaler's going to fly out of my backpack.
Oh no,
Yeah.
that's not good. That's not ideal.
That's bad enough as a kid, but when you're almost 30, losing your inhaler on the bus,
Yeah.
no one wants that.
That's real bad.
Yeah.
Oh no. I hope that doesn't happen to you. That's. I'm glad you're a sensible person who two straps it now. As do
Yeah.
everyone in this high school. They are all two strapping
yeah.
it, and because now this is like the first sign, but we get several things that compound this. What was cool in 2005 in high school is no longer cool in 2012. I guess
2012,
when
yeah.
this is taking place. Things have changed. The new cool
Yeah.
is like caring about the environment and like two-strapping your backpack. That's what's cool now. Yeah, so they drive this like crazy car in to school, and then like Jinko makes like the worst impression ever by going up to the cool kids, picking a fight with a guy, and then calling him gay. The kid turns out to be gay, and
Yeah.
it's like, you hit me because I'm gay. It's like, no, I hit you and you just were gay afterwards. And it's like, it's this whole thing. It's
Yeah.
bad. And everyone's aware that it's bad. It's like a full like cringe comedy kind of thing. It's pretty bleak. It is interesting though, our new characters coming in. We got new characters coming in. We've got Molly here, played by Brie Larson.
Yes. Forgot she was in this. Very happy to see
Yeah.
Brie Larson.
She doesn't have too much to do in the film, which is a shame. She's fun, but like, I don't
Yeah.
know. She's like, she's the classic like romance option for one of the main characters. But it's good because it's like it's another part of the movie that's definitely icky because it's like an adult hitting on a high school kid.
Yes. Especially because in the sequel, Schmidt turns 30, which means he's probably like 27 at this point, and she's, 17, 18.
It's no good. No, not really. But yeah, anyway, she's here and hanging out, and she's with Eric, a young Dave Franco, who is here.
Yes.
How old would Dave Franco be when this is filmed? Because he just seems like a high school aged person, more so. Maybe he just is the undercover cop in this situation. Like,
Yeah.
everyone else looks
He
kind of
is-
like
I remember reading he's 5 years younger than Channing Tatum, and he was in
Okay.
Superbad as a like high schooler,
Yeah.
and so he was high school age then. Because they think other than Jonah Hill, ironically, considering this film, other
Right.
than Jonah Hill, everyone else was high school age in Superbad.
Okay.
So, yeah. Maybe he's like currently 32 or 33?
I don't know. Yeah, it's tough. This is
Yeah.
the issue with like making movies where characters are supposed to be high school aged, and that
They never are.
no, they never are. They all kind of look like they should be in college, you know.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
I will say it, my big take on this film, if you want a pull quote for this podcast
Sure.
when you print it out
Podcast pull
for your
quote.
magazine. Yeah, podcast, it's the segment podcast pull quote.
Oh.
This film is the Dave Franco of films. Like,
Whoa.
when we heard about it, we were like, oh, another one? I don't know. And then it just won us over. It won us over with its charm. It's the Dave Franco of films.
There you go. He won us back.
Yeah.
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 Anyway, yeah. So they have this horrible altercation, and then they're pulled into the principal's office. And the principal is Jake Johnson of
Yes.
New Girl fame, and he's great as a strung out school principal. I like him a lot. I enjoy him in a lot of roles, and that he's like this frantic kind of actor trying to hold things
Yeah.
together. But I do like he's got like similar energy to Jeff Goldblum in a weird way for me. I don't know why.
Ooh.
I feel like they were.
Okay.
I feel like that duo, if there was a remake of Twins where they just had Jake Johnson and Jeff Goldblum as twins, that'd be great. And they're always at each other's throats.
Awesome, despite the huge age difference.
Yeah, but no,
Yeah.
that makes it even weirder that they're twins.
Yeah.
It's like, what? But surely Jeff's like 60. It's like, nah, they're twins.
No, it's my twin.
He just looks older.
That's
I don't know.
Movies should do that. Just be way more similar to, I guess, what's it called? Wet Hot American Summer. Just be like way more out there with the age. Like, age should just be
Yeah.
a bonkers thing where anyone can play any age. Like you're watching a play.
Yeah,
That's
that
my
would be
opinion.
good,
Like,
right?
Yeah.
Oh,
That kind of like then anyone can get away with the Dawson's Creek of it, of being in their 30s playing high schoolers, because also a guy in his 60s is playing a high schooler. Why not?
exactly. Yeah. We
Yeah.
get him in there. We've got yeah. Just I'm trying to remember his name. Fucking the 30 Rock bit with the very old
Steve Buscemi.
yeah,
How do you
Steve
do fellow
Buscemi coming
kids?
in. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
just coming in as an undercover cop as well. And everyone's like, yeah, that's Steve. he's core to the drug ring, all right.
Patrick Stewart rides by on his scooter and does a cool trick.
Yeah.
The cast of Cocoon are all there.
Yeah, they're all there, even the alien.
Oh, that's just the swim team. Yeah, even the alien.
so good. Oh my god, I love it. Yeah,
I
so
would
they're
watch
called
the
into
heck
the
out of old
principal's
high
office.
school.
What? Yeah, you disappeared.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
That's all right. Just take it from the top.
Okay, all right. So yeah, anyway, they're called into the old principal's office, and yeah, there's a time limit. They've got 30 days to solve the case because that's how long of school is left. And if they get in trouble again, then they're going to get expelled, which is one of the rules of Jump Street that was explained earlier. If you get expelled, then you're off Jump Street as well, you know, because that ruins the whole thing. And yeah, he's like the only one like in on it, I think. The principal's like the only one who knows that these guys are undercover cops. He's like, it's weird
No, the
that...
principal doesn't know either.
Oh, really? I thought he
Pretty
was.
sure. Yeah, because I was trying to figure this out as well. Like, I couldn't quite tell if they could just tell the principal, like, oh, sorry, we're undercover cops. But I think the idea is, what if the principal's the one dealing the drugs? So they have to be completely
okay.
undercover.
I thought
Yeah.
he was in on it because he was like, he mentions like, it's like, we've got a dead kid and no one's doing anything about it. That's pretty weird, guys. Like,
I think that's just something he says to the two new students.
Oh,
I think
okay.
he's not a very good principal.
Oh, All right.
Yeah.
I thought he was like directly addressing how weird it was that these two new guys have showed up, but like I don't know.
I think it's
Never
that
mind.
too. I think because you got to put it out to him. Like he's probably gone to the police and been like, why is nothing
Yeah.
happening? And because he doesn't know there's an undercover sting happening, so he's just like, yeah, the police
All
just
right.
aren't caring. It's up to me, and I'm not good at this.
All right. I don't know. I
Yeah.
didn't have that read on it, but yeah, fair. I don't know. Who's to say? Is he in on it? Is he not in on it? That's the real mystery. It's fuck
Yeah.
all this drug stuff. Doesn't matter.
Tweet at us hashtag Jake Johnson is in on it, and we'll know what it means.
I like that. I really like that
Yeah.
hashtag. I hope he catches wind of that somehow. Just like, oh, you're trending, Jake. He's like, what for? It's like, you're in on something. He's like, oh, what? Oh, that'd be great. Just like accidentally gaslight an actor through a hashtag.
Oh no.
No, we love you,
Turns
Jake.
out
We
he's
never
like
do that.
smuggling pandas, and that's how like he confesses.
Oh no!
Twitter found out about my panda smuggling.
Man, I always picked it, Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
trust him from the get-go. I love his acting, but has the look of a panda smuggler.
All those pandas that were always in the
Damn.
background of the shots in New Girl.
Yeah.
Should have known.
Yes. Just tweet both hashtag panda smuggling and hashtag what Jake Johnson is in on it.
Yeah.
Like both
Never
of those
in the
things.
same
Just
tweet.
no other context. Just tweet those at us
Yeah.
and see what happens. Oh my god. Anyway, so yeah, class begins in
We
earnest.
haven't given them an option if they don't think he was in on it.
Oh god, it'd be awful. Oh.
Anyway.
Yeah, so they go into class. They switch identities accidentally through this altercation with the principal. And so they're enrolled in each other's classes, which is good for the plot, but bad for them.
Yeah.
And so old mate Schmidt goes to drama class where he has to audition for Peter Pan because the kid that died was going to play Peter Pan in the school play. And so everyone has to audition to try and replace him. And we've got Chris Parnell as the drama teacher, just playing Chris Parnell like he does in everything. But that's fine. Like it makes sense in the in the long history of like completely mad drama teachers in movies. Like it just makes sense, But anyway, so he's like giving this like weird lecture about hugs not drugs basically, and Schmidt's talking to Molly trying to find out where the drugs are coming from, and she like indicates a number that's like sketched into a chair for him to call, and then he gets a response to his text and has to go and get the drugs basically mid audition, so he disappears and does that.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
Wild this phone. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Oh,
this
yeah,
is
yeah,
like
yeah,
the
yeah.
very last time we see a like phone without a touch screen in cinema, I think. Like
So
right
true.
on the I guess 2012 we still all had old phones, and it was like maybe 2013 that finally like the touch screen started to blow up and phones became what they are now, like
I guess
phones. Yeah.
Phones, all capital letters, phones.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is he's
Like
using like a BlackBerry, right, with like the screen zoomed all the way in, like grandma style, so that we can read it over his shoulder. Not very like private for a high school student to do, but like pretty good. Maybe it's just like another reason to show that he's like an old person pretending to be a high school student, and that he's got like a BlackBerry.
Oh, that is good. Yeah.
Could
like
be.
that.
Yeah, because they play it up later when like he calls Molly and she's like, "Wow, no one ever calls anyone." You know that, right, dude? It's pretty good. Yeah. So there's Jinko's like in science, and we're getting this amazing presentation about water from like a turbo nerd guy. I love this guy. He's wearing a shirt with like the different different forms that water can take, the states of water. And like I would wear this shirt low key. I think it's really cool. It's a pretty great design.
They
Just
should
a
drop
water
it.
shirt.
They should, yeah.
Yeah, I'd buy it. I'd wear it. I was just like, if people would ask me about it, I'd be like, yeah, I just love water. I don't know. It's good stuff. It's very important.
You know who else is buying that shirt? Is James Cameron.
Damn right. Absolutely. It's two Jameses together.
The two Jameses and their water shirts.
Yeah. We're getting amongst, you know? That's one thing that James Cameron and I can agree on. A love of water. Oh, goddamn. Yeah, so Jinko gets pulled out of class. Here's this like weird interaction with the teacher. This bit's played for laughs, and that the like teacher thinks he's really hot because he's Channing Tatum and like doesn't know how to deal with that, but he's a high school student or whatever. And that's played for laughs as well.
Yeah.
Who plays her? I can't remember. She's another
Ali
actress.
Kemper from
Yeah,
Kimmy
that's
Schmidt.
right.
Great energy for, again, a very complicated brief to play of teacher who's hot for student, but it's okay because student is Channing Tatum. Like, again, if this was in anyone else's hands, it could be very icky.
Definitely. It's a little icky. But like, it's out of the two like romance options in the movie, this one I'm okay with. You know?
True, yeah.
Yeah.
And also, like, did you notice in the credits they show them having sex?
Oh
In
yeah.
the credits?
I was gonna get to it. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, good. Buck wild.
Yeah, just like right at the end, absolutely insane.
Sneak it.
Sneak that.
To be like, don't
sneak
worry,
it past the.
Channing fucks. Yeah.
Don't worry,
The
Channing Tatum
censors had all
fucks.
gone home.
Oh god, yeah. They've got up and left the cinema already. They're like, oh, jokes in the credits. What is this? Monsters Inc. I'm out. God damn. Yeah. So they run up and like find the person for the drug hookup, and of course it's Eric, the cool kid, who's sitting here editing like the like annual for the like school like end of year thing.
Yeah.
The yearbook, yeah. He's on the yearbook committee, but also selling drugs in a shady room at the same time. I really love that. And they have to do the drugs in front of him in order to prove themselves as cool people who can take drugs. Classic drug dealer shit. You know, do those drugs that I sold you right now in front of me, people. I've never seen this happen. And yeah, they do this, and then we get the Pink Floyd is singing "The Old Man Died" as we go into Any Color You Like, as they're desperately trying to like not overdose or whatever, or not experience the effects of the drugs. They're really worried about dying, which is that's a sync. I'm happy about that. Yeah, they're trying to make each other throw up, and the janitor just watches them like weirded out in the background. And they run into the phys ed teacher out here, and then they start tripping on the drugs that they've taken because they couldn't get rid of them. And we get some very weird effects with this phys ed teacher who makes a deal so that he doesn't dob them in to the principal, basically. Gets Schmidt to agree to do like a track meet thing because he's seen his file or whatever. But for this, we get some very trippy imagery where the phys ed's teacher, I'm going to try and describe it, his eyebrows turn into little grubs and then wriggle down his face and turn into a Hannibal mustache. And then they cut away and cut back, and he's an animatronic cat. And then his face is an ice cream cone that has sprinkles pouring onto it and talking, which slowly melts. Yeah, that's the you know, when you're on drugs and a teacher's face turns into an ice cream cone, you know?
Yeah.
It's some real like fear and loathing stuff, which I'm kind of into here. Yeah, well, like when
How do
everyone
you think it's synced with the trippy sounds of Pink Floyd, though?
It's specifically Any Color You Like. I don't really know.
Hmm.
Like Any Color You Like for me is just like I'm coasting down an amber river on the back of a large turtle, you know? I'm not like wanting to see a man's face turn into an ice cream. That's not the trip out that I
Hmm.
want, you know? I'm more of a vibe. I'm more relaxing and maxing and chilling, you know, when I hear Any
Yeah.
Color. Yeah. What do you
Yeah.
think?
I think on paper I was like, oh yeah, Any Color's playing. It's going to be a great sync for this tripping out. And yeah, it just missed.
Yeah.
The turtle just floated
Yeah.
right by.
It's
Hmm.
it's a shame with me and James
Yeah.
Cameron sipping our waters.
On the back of your turtles.
Yeah, that's all I want.
You've described that. That's
Um,
going to be in the tripping scene for 23 Jump Street now.
oh, I can't wait. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, if there's just Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum on the back of large turtles, and that's how they
Hmm.
begin the movie, I'll be like, okay, all right, Jump Street's taking a turn. Um,
Yeah. They've been like, it's been a crazy ride back from spring break.
yeah. So they get
Anyway.
back to their respective classes. Like Schmidt goes back and gives the performance of a lifetime because the
Mm.
third stage of the drug that kicks in is like supreme overconfidence, and like you just believe that you're incredible at everything that you do. So he's just like hams it up completely and commits fully to the role of Peter Pan and wins it.
Now, James, we've talked a lot about how you're supposed to dance at a Pink Floyd concert. We've talked about, you get out your tires, you run
Yeah.
through those, then you have a nap. This is the first time a movie has given us, including all the dance movies we've covered, it's the first time a movie, I think, has given us the proper advice. And it's to dance as if you're Peter Pan on drugs. I think that's the Pink Floyd MO covered right there. And Jonah
Mm.
Hill is killing it for us. Honestly, I didn't think in a film starring Magic Mike we'd get our best dance advice from the other male lead, but
Yeah,
it's
that's very
beautiful.
surprising,
Yeah.
actually. I really like that take, actually. The dancing Peter
Yeah.
Pan is a beautiful image. I can just imagine him like just Jonah Hill, full Peter Pan costume, spinning around beautifully in time to Any Color You Like. Like that's a wonderful
Yeah.
image, you know?
They should, yeah, bring him out for the next show, honestly.
Oh my God. If Jonah
like
Hill
one of
walked
Jonah
on
Hill's
stage at a
things.
Pink Floyd show, that would be the best.
He's like one of those celebrities who does show up to do things that make you go like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
Like, I think he's been to Vampire Weekend shows and just hung out like on stage.
Yeah, that's awesome. What is he
Yeah.
doing on stage? He's just like nodding his head, like yeah.
I think so.
It's my boys in the weekend.
Moving his hips like, yeah.
Moving his
Yeah.
hips, like yeah. Oh, so good.
Oh.
I love it. I love it. I want him to do collaborations with bands exclusively about weekends, though, like Vampire Weekend and The
Yeah.
Weekend, and yeah, and somehow Pink Floyd. I don't know. Pink Floyd's the exception.
Pink Floyd Weekend. Yeah.
Uh,
Pink Floyd are your Friday. They're not quite the
yeah,
weekend.
definitely. They're leading up to the weekend. Definitely.
If any like music journalists are listening, if someone like releases a bad alt R&B album, you can be like, this guy he's Friday because he's not quite the weekend.
Damn.
And it's a real good singer that he's not as good as the singer of the
Got him.
weekend. Anyway, so this film.
Oh, so this film. Yeah, so the tail effects of these drugs are kicking in, and they're like, yeah, just playing
Yeah.
silly buggers at the band practice, and then and then at the relay race of the track meet goes awry. I do really like the image of Jonah Hill like bashing his baton to like try and like his relay baton out to hit other people's
Yeah.
batons out of their hands. I just think that's really funny. I could watch that for a long time.
Yeah.
But yeah, the cool kids think that not Jonah Hill, that Schmidt is really cool because sports are so bourgeoisie or whatever. Like
Yeah,
they're so
fascist.
fascist. Organized sports are so fascist, Gareth, and so he's suddenly cool. It's sweet that like it's the opposite is playing out here, where Schmidt is suddenly the cool kid, and what's his name's on the out. Jinko's on the
Jinko.
out as the
Yeah.
socially awkward guy who made a terrible first impression. And yeah, so they go back to Jump Street and they've made a flow chart out of like yarn and pins and photos, all Pepe Sylvia style, to like try and sort out what they've learned about the drug ring. They really don't have anything to report other than that they know who the dealers are, and so the captain's pretty pissed about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we get the recurring characters, the ladies who are like doing busts all over town. Like they get like 3 jobs done while these guys are farting about,
Yeah.
and like it's like I think they get one done like every week. It's pretty insane.
It seems like it, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, this.
It's some of my favorite comedy writing is to hint at something really, really exciting happening. And that's just it. Like, they just walk in and they're like, yeah, these other guys were stripping car parts, but we took care of it. It's just like, I love stories within stories.
It's good.
Yeah.
Good world building-y stuff.
And you get, yeah. And it's good because, like, I was just like, oh, Dakota Johnson, early role, fine. And then the fact that she does come in to, like, dunk on these boys. It's
Constantly.
Just perfect. It's like, oh, that's where you cast these, like, pretty famous people in this
So good.
role. For the
dunks. For those sweet dunks. Michael Jordan.
Space Jam 3 starring Dakota
Yeah.
Johnson.
Oh, hell yeah. Back in on Space Jam. Absolutely. But yeah, this is basically like end of Act 1 for the movie, and it's also end of Act 1 for our watch as Eclipse is rolling on in. And yeah, it's like stage 2 of the mission is beginning. Find the supplier. Everything's set up. It's good. And yeah, Jinko goes and like hangs out with the like nerdy kids. They're like hanging out in the science room as he's trying to like investigate in there. And they like they slowly become friends over the course of the movie. But he like they help him out as well because one of the nerdy guys, the water shirt guy who I love from before, is able to jailbreak people's phones. And this is actually going to be very useful in the investigation, where he can like listen in on people's conversations. Ethically questionable, not gonna lie.
Oh, for sure, yeah. I don't even know if that evidence would count, really.
I don't know, yeah. Probably not.
Because it wasn't like done. Yeah.
It's not great, but they do get like a full confession out at the end, because of this. So maybe it's fine.
That's true, yeah.
I don't know. It's the same as like wearing a wire, I guess. But
yeah. I think at the end it's more like wearing a wire, so it kind of covers all its bases.
Oh yeah, I see what. Yeah. The phone hacking thing probably not gonna be holding up in a court of law.
Yeah.
But anyway, they use it anyway. Yeah, we get the next stage of their plan is to throw a party and like prove themselves to be really cool. Schmidt's like gonna be in with the cool kids, and that's the plan going forward. He's like, yeah, I can invite Molly, and then she'll invite Eric, and it'll be great, and it's all that. So he does this. He calls up Molly, and she's like, "That's weird. People don't call people, but it's nice. It's fine." And then his mum picks up the phone and embarrasses him in classic style. I love that she like overcommits to the cover story. It's like, Brad, Dougie, my son, my teen son, who I love very much, but it like just comes across as like overbearing mother. It's really well written. It's really good. But yeah, they like have a chat, and then their relationship seems like it's improving. And then Jinko comes in and just starts wrestling Schmidt while he's on the phone.
Yeah,
like true older brother move. I love it so much. Just like wrestling. It's like they are brothers. It's real good.
It's beautiful. I think it's something you do see a lot on TV, but it was just nice to see like no, they care about each other. They are pretty much brothers.
Yeah.
Like look at them go.
Yeah, there we go. The bond of brotherhood, a band of brothers. So yeah, they get called into the captain's office because he gets rumor that they're hosting a party. I just love seeing Ice Cube eating a sandwich. It's just like he's just like angrily eating a sandwich. It's great. But yeah, he's like, it's a very bad idea for them to host a party because if any officers are caught supplying alcohol to minors, they'll go to prison because that's a felony. And so, yeah, they're like, oh, thank you for telling us that. And then they just go ahead and do it anyway.
Yeah.
They send the parents off to a trip to a vineyard. And then they have several good bits about like, fuck, how are we going to get alcohol for this party? And like full inverse to Superbad. They just like immediately have the hookup and that they just go and buy a whole bunch of alcohol, like 3 kegs and stuff. And they're like, how are we going to get drugs for the party? And then they steal drugs from the evidence lockup at the police station. That one's a bit worse, I think. A little bit worse.
So much more sauce.
Yeah, it's pretty funny though. Like there's a good bit in there as well that they like, he suggests like a pound of cocaine and there's like, we don't want to ruin their lives. We just want to have a good time. Yeah. And they get a pound of weed instead. Good times.
Yeah.
The party's getting ready and all the nerds show up on time. This is a thing that like I caught myself. I'm like, oh fuck, I'm that person that always shows up on time to a party. It's how I know that I'm a nerd, Gareth.
Well, then again, last party I was at with you, you showed up late.
I did, yeah.
Genuinely, and I'm not just trying to butter your bread. So many people were like, "Where's James Barron? Oh, when's James Barron gonna get here?" It was like you were
keep
Poochie.
them wanting. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. That everyone was talking about. Where am I? Oh my gosh! I had a really good excuse, and that I think I had something on. I had 2 parties that night. I'm just in such demand, Gareth.
Whoa.
That I went to one, and then I told the host that I was going to be late and show up at X time, and then I showed up at the other party. So there you go. You know, I'm just like, there's only one James Barron. There's only so much of me to go around, you know. Oh.
Okay.
I'm Howl's Moving Castle my way between party destinations, jumping from rooftop to rooftop with my magic umbrella, Mary Poppins style. All right, that's my move. But usually,
yeah. Were you on time to this other party?
Yeah, I was absolutely. Usually, I'm on time to a party. That is my move. If you can pretty much guarantee. If you tell me a time, I'm going to be there. I don't know when it suddenly became cool to show up late to things. Apparently, like, that's just a thing. Like, all of my flatmates are like this. They're like, oh, yeah, we'll say a time, but then people will show up like an hour and a half later. I'm like, what the fuck? Why? Like, just, maybe this is another thing, me being old or me being a nerd, but like, if you say a time, like, fucking show up. I don't know. It just seems inefficient. I don't know.
I wonder if it's like a secret social anxiety. Like,
maybe
people, like, I'd be worried if there was a party where I didn't know anyone, I would show up late. Like, I'll show up quite late because then I know everyone. Like, there's a group there. There's possibly multiple groups there. I kind of get like more, safer. If I was invited to a party by someone I barely knew, and I was the first one there, that is scary. And like hosting a party, I was always worried the first person there was going to be some like kind of polite invite, and I'm just stuck talking to them for 2 hours until their cool people actually show up. Which I'm now realizing as I say it, if everyone just showed up on time, we wouldn't have that problem.
Exactly. Like, this is my whole thesis, all right? Like, if you're hosting a party and you set a time, I'm going to be showing up. And hopefully I'm cool enough to meet that memo, right? Like, that's I'm a person that you actually want there. I'm not going to be, like, bringing my weakest game. I'm going to bring my party A game, all right? Like, I'm there on time. Deal with it. That's the James Barron guarantee. Right. I'm trying to solve this problem from within, all right? Be the change in the world that you want to see, you know? This is my sweeping manifesto for this podcast. Show up on time to parties. It's more polite and it's cool.
I like it.
The party starts in earnest after all the nerds have arrived. We just cut to the party properly. Eric shows up like a full 2 hours late because he has social anxiety. And then, Jinko makes this weird distraction so that they can steal his phone and like implant like the hacking device or whatever, or like jailbreak it so that they can listen in on his conversations. And then, we just get some fun party stuff. There's a threesome that's happening upstairs for no good reason, I think just for a gag.
Yeah.
But there's as they're like partying, on the run is playing, and we get the crash sound and On the Run perfectly syncing with one of the nerd kids' head getting hit by the door. Like Jingo like pulls the door open and smashes it into this guy's head just as the crash sound happens. I'm like, oh god, oh no. So that's a thing. I'm happy about that.
It's pretty perfect as well. Like technology, partying, like a bad thing ending the technology party. Yeah, it's an On the Run sync.
End the technology party is the subtitle for On the Run for sure. It's so good. So some party crashers show up at the party and they want to start some like beef with Eric. They're from like a rival high school or something. And Schmidt steps in because it's his house, it's his party. And so he's stepping in front of this guy, and also trying to like prove himself to Eric as a cool kid. And they get into a fight. And of course, Jinko comes downstairs to defend Schmidt, and they just start kicking ass. Like he just starts like beating people up with like strong martial arts training, and Schmidt is just sort of like holding this guy back with pillows and slap fighting him. And they successfully fend themselves off, fend off the party crashes, and everyone's like, yay! It's just a celebration when this guy gets knocked out in the middle of the party. Which I feel like that would just be like, I'm fucking out of there. If there's like a fight that starts in a party, I'm like, I don't want any part of that. God damn.
Yeah. You leave as early as you arrived if there's a fight.
Hell yeah. Damn right. I don't want to be part of that. No way.
No, absolutely.
But yeah, everyone's into it for some reason. They're like, yeah, they all celebrate this victory. And then, they managed to sneak the phone back into Eric's pocket so that he's none the wiser. Schmidt got, like, stabbed in the back as part of this. And he's like, oh, shit. He didn't even notice. And then they pull it out. And it's just, like, this crazy party story that happens. Which is it's fun, honestly. I quite like it. And then Schmidt's parents decide to come home early because of course they do. It's a movie set in middle America. That's just how it is. Whenever there's a party on, parents have a sixth sense and they decide to come home.
They abandon their plans. Yeah,
definitely. They just know deep in their hearts. We get in Party Rock Anthem playing, and then, they come home and break it up. We aren't really getting Party Rock Anthem playing. Party Rock Anthem's supposed to be playing, but we're getting Time.
Oh, what? Pink Floyd didn't write Party Rock Anthem?
I think they were involved, but, they weren't... The F in LMFAO actually stands for Floyd, I think.
Yes. Laughing my Floyd ass.
There we go. We done it. So they managed to get away. Everyone's like chased out of the house by the parents, and Eric's like stoked about this party. He's like, oh, it was a good time. And he gets Schmidt in on the drug ring thing. He's like, I'll get you in on this because you're my friend now. You're my boy. And so that's good.
Yeah.
He's getting closer to the situation. They get told off the next morning, They go to a gun range, and this is like dead center in the movie, by the way. This exact point. Whoever designed the story like had this down.
Ooh.
As soon as we start getting dissension between these two guys, where it's like, oh, actually, they're
Yeah.
like starting to do this investigation separate ways and not telling each other about it. Like that happens right at the center of the movie, like exact climax point. It's crazy. Um,
That's wild.
yeah. But yeah, bit of tension in the partnership starting up. And Schmidt starts pretending to sell the drugs as he like just brings the drugs into the captain who gives him the money for them, and then they give the money to Eric, and Eric's like, oh shit, you sold them all already? Amazing. That kind of thing. Meanwhile, Jinko's just like having a good time with his new nerd friends. I love this. He's just like, actually, science is cool, and I'm having a great time being more academic in school. I just really like that character arc. It's just cool.
Yeah.
It's heartwarming.
Yeah.
Schmidt's cover is nearly blown at a shoe store by a character called Phyllis, who I didn't mention earlier because she's not very important. But this is kind of like a throwaway
Shame,
scene.
Phyllis.
Honestly, you could cut Phyllis straight from this
Yeah.
movie, and it would be fine. Sorry, get dunked. Got beef with Phyllis out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And yeah, over. I guess she's here to make the sinks work. You know. Yeah, so over Great Gig, they go to Eric's house to hang out. He lives in like a McMansion style, beautiful American house with a pool. His parents are never
Yeah.
there because he's like a yuppie, I guess. And yeah, meanwhile, Jinko is hanging out with the nerd boys back at Schmidt's house, and they're doing the like wiretapping thing. They're going to listen to through Eric's phone to the conversations that are happening. But they accidentally listen in on Schmidt and Molly, like, and their like budding romance. Again, he's an undercover police officer. This whole thing is not ideal. But anyway,
Yeah.
it happens. She brings up going to prom, and Jinko like waxes lyrical about like the prom experience that he never got to have. He like really wanted to go and has this whole like detailed plan of how it would go down, which is pretty adorable.
Yeah.
The like I really like this like setup payoff thing with the doves and everything. Like that they like talk about this and they're like, actually, like prom is very important, and they like do it right in this movie. It's good. It's very like, it reminds me a lot of the of Back to the Future with the like under the sea dance, where like the prom is like
Yeah.
extremely important to the plot of that movie. Very similar feeling for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so Schmidt asks her out and to go to the prom, and she says yes, and it's all good. And the nerds are like, "What the fuck? This guy, he gets the girl crazy." And she goes in for a kiss, but he goes in for the handshake, which is a classic misdirect. I really liked that. And then yeah, but they're still listening in, and then Schmidt starts like making fun of Jinko and like saying that he's a dummy who's like terrible, and just like to like ingratiate himself with the cool kids who don't really like him. And of course Jinko hears all this and it's like, oh no, it's like a literal high school drama, you know, of like
Yeah.
hearing your brother say mean things about you, and you're like, oh no, like that kind of thing. No good. But yeah, they what happens now? They go back to Jump Street. The girls have completed another assignment and they're just dissing them again.
Yeah.
But they also deliver the news that the drugs are spreading to other high schools now because they found some at the one that they were just at. And so the captain's pretty pissed off about that. They do have a lead though, is because Jinko was listening to the phone conversations and he heard something about a piñata, but that's kind of it. So they don't know what that means.
Yeah.
It's like code for something. And now it's time for the school play, so Schmidt is dressed up like Peter Pan. And it's just good seeing Jonah Hill in Peter Pan outfit, you know? That's just good stuff.
Yeah.
You know? He's
Again,
rocking it.
It's perfect for Pink Floyd.
Yeah,
He
perfect.
is.
On the back of
Yeah.
a turtle, ideal.
Yeah.
And yeah, Molly's very excited for the play as well. Jinko, meanwhile, is giving this killer talk on potassium nitrate. He's got like a hoodie with the potassium nitrate logo on it. He's made his own custom shirt like the other guy did. So good. Again, I'd wear this. Not in combination with the water shirt, I don't think. I think that would be a bad idea, just chemically. But
Yeah.
yeah, like it's good.
Where's the merch, 21
Where's the
Jump Street?
merch?
Where's the merch line?
Where's the merch? That's our new segment. Where's the merch?
Kind of
Yeah.
is. We talked a lot about Space Jam.
Yeah, man, it's good. It's important. Yeah, so they see Jinko mid-speech sees the Eric with a piñata in the parking lot, and they're like, "Oh shit, it's happening!" And so they get together and race off to intercept this drug deal taking place. They go down to like the freeway or whatever, and they steal a driver's ed car to get there because their car's been clamped. And who should be at the deal but the 1%ers, the gang from the park? They're involved. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Good twist. I like it. And yeah, they watch this exchange with the piñata happen, and then they're trying to follow these gang members to see where they're going. But they're starting to argue amongst each other, and since they both have control of the car, start like battling it out and who's in control of the brakes, and end up ramming this guy, the big bearded biker guy. And I really love the big guy like gets out and starts like attacking the car, but he calls Schmidt a Keebler elf, which is just such a deep cut. I love that reference. It's so funny. It's like maybe my joke of the whole film. It's just so fucking good.
Wow.
Oh, it's so niche, and it's just like hidden in his dialogue when he's like yelling. It's amazing.
Yeah. They probably like didn't even write that, and they probably just added it, either improvised or added it in like post.
Yeah, it feels like an ad
Just
lib. It's
knew it was
really
the perfect
good.
joke for you. Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Okay.
And yeah, so like they drive away to escape, and they're being chased down by these bikers with guns in a like sort of reverse car chase situation where the enemy is after them. And they, yeah, there's like a recurring joke where they crash into various things that should explode but don't. There's like an oil tanker and propane, like a truck carrying like propane tanks that both crash and then don't explode. And then, of course...
Yeah, it's very, very relatable to us because, like, it's kind of what it is like looking for the syncs. You're like, oh, trippy scene. Any Color You Like by Pink Floyd. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, didn't really. And then, like, oh, this
You're
thing
so
with
right.
this thing. Oh, okay, didn't really. Yeah. And then it's always the disappointing thing because, like you were about to say, the chicken truck explodes.
Yeah.
And we're just like, okay, yeah, that was the sync.
Yeah, I guess that was a sync. Yeah, that's surprising, but we've got to put it on the graph, you know? Like that's how it goes. That's what the show's all about, you know? It's the truck carrying chickens exploding of podcasts. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, they like it's a good like rule of threes kind of joke, which I appreciate.
Yes, yeah.
And then yeah, they fire a gun off that they find in like they switch vehicles several times during this car chase, just for like added gags. They like get into a lady's V-dub and like find a gun in her glove compartment because this is America, and that's pretty good.
Yeah.
And yeah, they just like are really frustrated with each other because that was like a terrible car chase where they nearly died and all kinds of horrible stuff happened. And their relationship just sort of breaks down and they yell at each other. And Jinko He basically thinks that Schmidt is in too deep into this character, and Schmidt is annoyed at Jenko for like undermining him and calling him a jerk and all this stuff, and being like saying that he's like not committed enough. So yeah, but Schmidt has to run off and be Peter Pan. He comes on stage like while the other Peter is out there, his understudy, who's like living for this as well. I love that like throwaway bit.
Yeah.
That like this like a literal like Glee cast member who's been waiting in the wings this whole time. It's so good. Yeah, so unfortunately this like embarrasses he's like, oh, it's fine, I'm here now, let's continue the play. And Molly's like really embarrassed by all this, and then it's exacerbated and made worse when Jenko runs out and like tackles Schmidt, and they have like a mid-air fight because he's suspended on wires. And yeah, basically this gets they get interrupted by the principal running up on stage and saying that they're both expelled. Oh shit. And then the drama teacher gets up and again, very meta, says, and that's the end of Act 2. Which is just good. Like, that one I like.
Oh, yeah.
It's
I didn't even click to that.
smart.
That's perfect.
And yeah, the captain, like, is very pissed at them because they broke the rules, obviously. They got expelled. And so they're off Jump Street. They've lost their badges and their guns, etc. And they aren't. He doesn't even yell at them. That's how you know that he's upset with them. He's actually hurt by them because he's yelled at them throughout the whole film, and now he's just like quietly like upset. It's like, oh man, damn, Ice Cube, playing it great.
Yeah. Ice
And
Cube,
yeah,
Ice Cold.
we get some like sad montage of like various things, various changes. Jinko moves to like move out of the house because there's no reason for him to keep living with Schmidt. And Eric like randomly shows up, intercepts them, and he's like, get in the car. And they drive to this like really shady alleyway where you think that he's going to like, he's found out that they're cops somehow. But actually, he hires them to be security for him for an upcoming deal and gives them both guns that he's like borrowed or like stolen from his dad, which is quite funny. So like they get given back their police equipment. It's a good bait and switch. And then they get ready for the final act of the film. They're preparing for prom. It's like a double montage where they're prepping for putting on their prom outfits and also strapping up with all the guns like a la Hot Fuzz, you know. It's like a combination montage of that. And they also have to do chores because they're still living with Schmidt. It's good. And yeah.
That got such a big laugh from me, that chore scene.
It's so unnecessary.
It was like a full bark.
It's great,
exactly.
It's one of those ones that just plays so well, you know.
Yeah.
And then they're like preparing together. They're looking in the same like twin mirrors again, side by side, and they just like agree to become friends again and solve the case, do the bust. Over the line, we'll see you on the dark side of the moon. Oh yeah, that's so good.
Oh yeah.
And then we get the iconic prom opening where they roll up in a white limousine in slow motion and they open the doors and doves fly out. And the nerds are all there as well, and they've got the prostitutes from the police station that we'd seen earlier as dates.
Yeah, which was a very deep pull. Like, I did not quite click who they were, and then I was like, oh yeah, the sex workers from like they briefly said hello to.
Yeah, it's like, again, this is like classic director's stuff. Like, that's like dive all the way back to the start of the film. It's like, do you remember who these are?
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter if you do or not, but it's a little extra joke if you were paying attention.
Yeah.
It's great.
And Pink Floyd liked it because the lyric, I think it's nice, plays as the scene happens.
Yeah.
And there's the little chuckle.
Yeah. We too think
Pink
it's
Floyd
nice.
get callbacks.
Yeah. They do. If you play the album enough times, it feels like a callback. Oh man.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So they go into prom. Schmidt reveals to Molly that he's a cop. I guess because he doesn't really want to lie to her anymore, in combination with like protecting her from this drug confrontation that's happening. But she is on the drug. She's on the holy fucking shit drug. And so she's like tripping right now. She's at the third stage or whatever. And so she's not really listening, and they have to go away to find out. They go up with Eric to oversee the deal, and who should the supplier be? But it's Mr. Walters, the phys ed teacher. He's here, and he like runs down his whole plan, evil, evil leader style, you know, like Bond villain style. And we get a cutaway to the nerds who are hanging out in the bathrooms with their dates, just recording all this stuff through the wire, which is good. And they like he lays it all out.
He lays it all out.
He lays it all out. We go into playthrough 3 now for the final bit as the gang members arrive over like the heartbeats, which I'm pretty happy about. It's the same guys again, except one of them has an eye patch now, like because of the like horrible stuff they've gone through. But so as this is all going down, suddenly Molly bursts into the scene and starts like yelling at Schmidt about how he's an undercover cop and he's a like fucking liar and all this stuff, and blows the whole thing wide open. And they get into like a standoff situation where Molly has been held hostage by Mr. Walters and the gang members, who are apparently on the same side for this. But anyway, so the boys drop their guns and hand them over, but then they're about to get shot, and they're like, "That's not fair. That's not what we agreed." And they're like, "We're gang members, guys. This is not a film. This is not how it happens." When suddenly these two bikers suddenly switch sides, and they were actually undercover DEA agents, played by who are they played by, Gareth? Who are these wonderful boys?
Well, so this was the main thing that was spoiled to me by people on the street, is that of all the people to get to do a cameo, especially a fun, self-aware cameo, they get the least fun and self-aware actor, Mr. Johnny Depp.
There he is.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so weird.
Obviously he broke out in the original Jump Street, like that was his fame-making role. But oh my goodness, so fun, so good to see him do this. And yeah, so the other guy who's also undercover was also in Jump Street, but I didn't look up his name. And yeah, they just immediately kind of die, and then they get to have the cathartic like chat in place of our characters.
Yeah, it's weird. It's a very weird addition. It's kind of like, it's cute that they're like playing up the like cameo, I guess. It's sort of throwaway, but it's like they're paying homage in a weird way. I don't know. I'm not like attuned to how appropriate it is or not in the movie. I feel basically nothing towards it, but it's fine. You know? I don't know. It's weird.
It's very good that like they were both in like the very first one of the very first scenes, because those same gang members are in there much earlier, and even say like, if you're a cop, I'm a DEA agent. Yeah,
that's pretty cool that they're like snuck in there.
Woo!
So yeah, these guys get like shot down, killed pretty immediately, and so we don't have to care about them anymore. And yeah, they have their like heartwarming moment. Everyone's shooting their guns in the air, hiding behind various parts of this hotel room, and Mr. Walters escapes with both the money and from the drug deal and Molly as a hostage. And The boys are finding their way out of the room as the crash sound and On the Run plays for the third time, and all the clocks go off as they're running through the prom, and we see them appear on the memories of the last year of high school. I love that they made it despite
Yeah.
only being at the school for 30 days. That's pretty amazing. But yeah, everyone jumps into 3 limos because there's a bunch of limos here because it's prom, and they have a limo car chase, which is pretty wonderful. Car chase and firefight.
Yeah, very fun.
Through the city. Another good bit is revealed where they have the boys have a drunk lady hanging out in their car who's just passed out on the way to prom. So good. And then they have a bit of a fight, and then Jinko uses his new science knowledge to make a battery bomb, which he throws into the limo of the drug dealers that they're driving, and it blows up. Fantastic! It explodes, and they crash into an oil tank thing that also explodes.
Of course.
Yeah, because of course they've got to lean into it. And then there's a final standoff with the bad guy with fire blazing in the background, where the gym teacher has Molly hostage, and he tries to shoot Schmidt, but Jinko dives in front and catches the bullets in his chest. It's great because he said earlier that he would take a bullet for him, and he does.
Yeah.
And Schmidt, filled with confidence from this, finally takes his shot, and that's the celebration moment of the movie. Again, very weird. But yeah, he takes down the perp, and then they run over and yell the Miranda rights at him, and then yell "fuck you" at him, it's hell yeah, hooray! The boys are back.
Yeah, it is screenwriting.
It sure is. And the teacher's dick gets shot clean off as part of this.
That's right. Yeah.
And it's such a weird blue joke to go out on, but the movie sure does do that. Anyway, Eric also gets arrested. We see him ushered into a cop car, and in the aftermath, and Molly's being looked over by an EMT in an ambulance, and Schmidt goes over and apologizes to her for lying and being an undercover cop and all that. And he goes in for the handshake, but this time she goes in for the kiss. Hey, it all works.
Hey.
It's a good reverse, but a bad thing that happens because of the weird age difference between them. But hey, so that's it.
Not between the actors.
No,
at least
definitely not. Yeah, they're both adults. It's fine. But characters not so great. Yeah. So the boys roll back into Jump Street to widespread congratulations and acclaim. Everyone's loving it. The captain
Jinko makes out with Dakota Johnson.
Yeah, just because he can. It's a power play. I love that.
And cinema in 2015 finds its legs because then obviously 50 Shades of Grey and Magic Mike XXL coming out that same year.
Yeah.
Entirely based on that background kiss in this movie.
That one kiss, that sweeping that girl off her feet. They're like, hang on. Yeah. Maybe Channing's our boy. Oh, so good.
Maybe movies can be sexy.
This boy's single-handedly saved cinema. He's done it again. All the people behind the Oscars are clapping their hands slowly, in their dark rooms. Oh my god. And the captain is proud of them. He's framed the arrest report for them, which I think is a really cute touch. And he's setting up for the sequel. He's like, "You guys are going to college, yeah!" And then it's credits time. We get those great credits that I talked about. Yeah, lots of like explosion and weird effects, cutaways, matching the like drug effect that we saw earlier, the like editing style of that.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's the film. What did you think? How did it sync?
Yeah. What did I think? How did it sync? Were Pink Floyd and 21 Jump Street covalent bonds, or were they not covalent bonds? Like, it actually turns out the covalent bonds he talked about in the movie apparently weren't covalent bonds, according to a PowerPoint I accidentally opened while Googling what is a covalent bond.
Damn, got him.
Anyway, but yeah, I mean, look, sure, no one was riding around on a turtle, but we did have, Jonah Hill dancing like Peter Pan to Brain Damage by Pink Floyd, so that's putting it up at least above a 5 for me.
100%.
How are you feeling?
Strong agree with that, absolutely. Very happy to go above a 5 on it, but not that much higher, probably. Can we go like...
No.
Can we go like 5.5?
5.5?
Is that too low?
Why not? No, I think that's perfect.
All right, cool. There we go. Plot it on the graph. Sweet. What else are we doing? What's happening next? Are we doing... it's your pick, right? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And gosh, I don't know though, James. It's just so hard to find a film that's going to sync. I think we might have to scream. You know me. Know how I earn a living. I'll sync this tune for you.
Oh.
But it ain't going to be easy. Bad fish. Not like going down to the pond chasing bluegills or tommycats. This album will swallow you whole. Shaking, tenderizing, down you go. Now we got to do it quick. That'll bring the listeners and put all your advertising businesses on this podcast on paying bias. But it's not going to be pleasant. I value my neck for a lot more than $3,000, Chief. We didn't mention $3,000. I'll find him for 3, but I'll catch him and sink him for 10. You got to make up your minds. Gonna stay alive and ante up, or do you want to play it cheap? Be on welfare for the whole podcast winter.
Oh man,
I don't want no volunteers. I don't want no co-hosts. There's too many captains on this island. $10,000 for me by myself. For that, you get eclipse, brain damage, breathe, the whole damn thing. Oh, where's he going? No, sir, you're walking. Wow.
Oh my god, I've disappeared. I was in complete shock from that. I was so good. I loved that. I loved that.
I guess that guy's whoever he
God.
was, he's off to do his own thing. But do you want to sync Jaws?
Very yes, Gareth. Of course I want to sing Jaws. It's all I need to do
good.
in life. Oh. I'm very excited. Jaws is he's coming. Jaws is coming. Jaws be coming.
Yeah.
Amazing. All right. Sync Floyd on Twitter. Sync Floyd on Gmail. Sync Floyd lurking beneath the waves.
Oh gosh. Until then, I've been a police officer pretending to be Gareth Blackler.
I've been James Barron pretending to be a high school student and nothing else just yet.
And we'll see you on the dark side of the moon.
On the dark side of the moon. Goodbye.